So yeah, welcome. And today we'll be talking about NFTs. We have some nice experts here with us and I have questions about them as well, because I think there's a lot of potential there, but we have to explore this. But before this, I will start with just a few sponsor updates. So one of the sponsors is Eternity, and they're organizing this superhero-themed hackathon, I would call it. And it's quite interesting that they're looking for the human side of decentralized finance. And they're looking for teams who are building apps that could in some way further this humanizing idea of decentralized finance. And I have extracted some of the use cases they're looking for. So they're looking for new models of peer-to-peer financial and insurance services, saving pools which have positive environmental and social impact. So this is, I like this actually. Stable coins back to carbon credits, and this is also very interesting because just last weekend I was talking with a guy about carbon credits and how they can be tokenized, and I have a background in emission trading. Token bonding curves that fund public goods, and new loan models and convertible donations. So everything, like a lot of things related to this human side of decentralized finance. And I completely agree with this message. I think DeFi should be the whole idea behind it is financial inclusion and embetterment of the world, or democratization of the financial service sector. So I like this. I like what they're doing, and it's starting on November 10th, and it will be 1 month long. So if you know a developer who might be interested in this, they have interesting prizes as well. So $5,000 to $5,000 prizes, and from $2,500 and so on and so on. So quite interesting initiative. Maybe have a look. Then we have Nexo, and I have 4 pieces of news about them. They're launching something called Nexonomics, which is a series of upgrades of their smart contracts, and I kind of feel that they're going to be going into governance maybe, spreading the Nexo tokens to the community so that the community can take decisions. Maybe I'm wrong. They're kind of announcing this in steps. So the only thing that I know is that they're bumping the interest rates as a first step. So if you deposit cryptocurrencies or stablecoins in Nexo, you can get an API. You can see 8% API for cryptocurrencies, 12 to 4 for stablecoins now, which I think it's doubled. Not sure. And they have this Nexo card which is coming up, which says spending crypto assets without selling them. I'm not completely sure how this works, but I guess this is loan related. And something that I was looking for in Nexo for some time was Pax Gold. They introduced Pax Gold recently, and if you have gold, like digital representation of gold, and Pax Gold actually are one of the projects that I'm most, I trust them the most since they are regulated in the US, so regulation kind of works in this way. So Nexo announced them. You can deposit Pax Gold in them and get the 5% API. And you can get 1% more if you have 10% of all your holdings in your Nexo wallet, I guess. 10% of everything that you have on your Nexo wallet in Nexo tokens, as far as I understood. So these are the news announcements I have for you guys. So I'm going into the Bitcoin price, and I like what I'm seeing. When I was doing the chart, I really enjoyed it this time. And the reason behind this is that when we had the Meetup in 2018, the price wasn't 20,000, because if it was 20,000, this would have looked a bit worse. But now, if I was a technical analyst, I would have thought of some interesting pattern happening here, going upwards, and I'll be all in Bitcoin. But definitely something's happening in terms of institutional investors going in. PayPal announcing that users will be able to buy and sell cryptocurrencies, like PayPal users. So yeah, Bitcoin is actually currently doing pretty well in contrast to the rest of crypto, I would say. And Ether, and you can see this, like what I'm talking about. Ether is very, very far away from where it was in 2018. It's barely touching on $500. It was $513 like a few days ago, then it went down. But yeah, it's hopefully the NFTs and DeFi and new types of initiatives on Ethereum will be pushing the Ether price, like the staking, like phase 0 of the ETH 2.0 upgrade, which is supposed to come in November sometime. But yeah, it's questionable what the effect will be there. And then we have the October headlines, which will be presented by my amazing colleague, Anastasia.
Thanks. I'll just wait for you for a second. I can be without the mask now.
Yeah, it's fine.
Perfect. Okay, so that's the poll. It changed just a bit in the past, maybe, I don't know, an hour or two, but the top 3 is the same. So those are the winners. We'll start with the first one, the biggest one. Maybe I've never seen a poll like this, like being ahead with over 30 votes. We have never had a winner like this. So, and it's not only one news with PayPal. Like very broadly speaking, joined the cryptocurrency market. PayPal will allow its customers to purchase Bitcoin and other crypto assets, namely the first one to be added will be Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cash, and Litecoin. PayPal customers will also be able to use cryptocurrencies to shop at the 24 million merchants on its network, but it's starting like they promised from the beginning of 2021. For that to get live, the company partners with Puzl Trust Company to offer this service. And it is rumored that PayPal is exploring acquisition of other cryptocurrency companies, namely the cryptocurrency custodian BitGo, but nobody has said anything further for now, so let's see. It is speculated, as Vlad said, that the break of the 30,000 mark of like Bitcoin going through it is because of PayPal now. So, the other news is the first Bitcoin mixer penalized by the FinCEN. So, it was coming actually, but now it's just in October. It's like this guy, Tallarida was penalized with 60 million in a civil penalty for running a Bitcoin mixer. He was the founder and operator of Helix, and before that Ninja. After that, sorry. So both were considered by the FinCEN as unregistered money services businesses. So just a note for anyone that doesn't know what Bitcoin mixer or like what was the other word? I'm not sure. So. Anyway, so the Bitcoin mixer is usually it's a software service or just a traditional service that mixes coins of different users. So it's like harder to trace them and like risks privacy.
Useful laundering. Could be useful laundering.
Well, yeah, I tried, yeah. I tried not to use that word, but generally that's the thing, yeah.
Useful service though.
Okay, and the third news, it's not that big, but it's also like, it leads to other things too, especially adoption. So Square invested 50 million worth of USD in Bitcoin. And so this is not the first, it's only part of their cryptocurrency investment. This is not the first thing. They're quite familiar with cryptocurrencies and the blockchain world generally. In 2018, Square added Bitcoin trading to its Cash App, and just last year they formed the the Square Crypto, an independent team that contributes to Bitcoin open source work. And according to JP Morgan analysts, the payment companies will also, like other payment companies, will also follow suit. Like that's a big thing in it, that this is like not really the first step, not such a big one, but we expect many more like to follow, and this is like great for adoption as well. So, moving on to our main topic now, NFTs. We had a poll in like earlier in October in our community, in our group, and not much added, actually nothing more, but we see that the favorite NFT applications will be digital art, in-game items, collectibles, top 3, and I think we will talk much more now with our guests.
Panelists, please join us in front. Nice, yeah, whichever place you choose. Okay. You can, I guess, remove the mask since there is like 1 meter between you.
Even more.
And I'll be standing here. Let me push this back a little bit. All right. Everyone here? Perfect. Okay. So, Anastasia, would you like to start, or maybe the general start is usually asking the panelists to introduce themselves?
Yeah, I think it's best, like for our great panelists. Firstly, we're so grateful to you that you decided to join us.
In person.
In person, exactly, which was quite hard, like to organize. So please introduce yourselves. Let's start with Pascal.
So my name is Pascal Tallarida, and I have founded Jarvis.network. So in the past, I was very active on the traditional market, namely the forex. And basically, I'm using this experience and what I have learned in market making and hedging to try to recreate the way brokers work on Ethereum, on the top of Ethereum. We have raised funds this summer, which allows us to have enough money to develop what we are currently working on. We expect to be on the mainnet actually quite soon for the first version of our protocol. And yeah, and of course I'm a big advocate and fan and user of DeFi, and NFT is also one of the things I really like, so I'm happy to be here tonight.
Great.
Nice.
So next one, Aleksandar. He's like really practically into NFTs, and he can say more about his project and himself.
He actually has NFTs on his shirt.
These are the first NFTs of the game we're actually working on. So I'm the founder of FairSpin. It's a game that we have developed on top of the Ethereum blockchain. It's currently running on the Robsten testnet. We've also deployed on one of the pre-mainnets of Matic. So it can be both played on layer 1 and layer 2, which is kind of cool, and not released yet. We've been talking to VCs and stuff like that, so we're kind of actively developing and looking for funding. And apart from this, I've been for the past 2 years maybe operating a crypto ATM network here in Bulgaria, Sofia, Plovdiv, and Burgas. So maybe I'm a semi-automated market maker for the BG and BTC pair. And yeah, and I've been working for in the field of finance for the past 10 years. Most currently, I'm working for Tether, the well-known USDT, you know, everybody. So I'm kind of happy that I'm now full-time in crypto. Very, very satisfied. And yeah, that's about me. Yeah.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Krasi. I am currently co-founder and technical lead of JellySwap, which is a decentralized exchange allowing users to swap between different chains. We currently support 7 different chains, and I practically don't have any hobby. My hobby is to read Twitter all day about DeFi, NFTs, and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Great hobby. Keeps you up to date with everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe let's start with what we asked our community in the first place. What are your favorite applications of NFTs?
So, I don't know, maybe before the applications, since I'm not sure if everyone is aware of what an NFT is, maybe we can
define it.
Yeah, let's define it a bit. And I guess you guys maybe have some different definitions. Maybe we could start with Pascal of what is an NFT and why should we care? But no, focus on what is an NFT first.
Yes, so NFT, the best way for me to define it is a token which cannot be divided and which can be transferred. And because of that, it can represent something unique, like a collectible. It can represent a play card, if you know Pokemon or Magic card. It can represent a card, as example, and you can prove that you have bought this card. It can represent a piece of land, of either virtual or real. So yeah, basically it's this, and it has many different applications, both in gaming, also DeFi, art, of course, and this kind of thing. And I'm more bullish, of course, for gaming because I think it's where there is the most exciting actually features and development that could be done here. But also NFT can be used for many other things that we don't think about, like a referral link, as example, can be an NFT. And if you and your affiliate hold the NFT, then the blockchain knows that who has referred who, and you can do some profit sharing, this kind of thing. And or when you attend to an event, as example, like today, there is a project called POAP. Every time you go to an event, you scan a QR code, you sign with your private key, and you receive an NFT which proves that you have been there. So.
Being here, yeah. We actually had that idea. We wanted to implement it back in the days when NFTs weren't such a big thing, and I think we kind of forgot about it.
No, actually, I thought about it again, and I see in the poll that
it's in the last place. Unfortunately.
Don't find it that. Maybe it's also collectible. I'm not sure. It could be a
Well, it's not really a collectible. It's more in the the
so
reward points.
People are not that excited at this point, I guess, for this. I was thinking if we should do this for Sofia Crypto Meetup, but maybe give it a little bit more time.
For AA meetings.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, maybe. Do you want to improve?
I think it was a kind of perfect explanation. Maybe again I can stress that it's different from the well-known fungible tokens, which we know very well. Bitcoin, Ethereum, they can be exchanged one-to-one. Like the non-fungible tokens, they are not identical. They're unique, and we have different standards for these.
Yeah.
Maybe we can say that there are currently two standards in Ethereum, 721 and 1155, which are the most used at the moment. And the difference is that 1155 allows you to manage both fungible and non-fungible tokens in a single contract. And this is useful for, let's say, games, because in a game you not only have non-fungible tokens, but you can also have fungible tokens. So maybe cool.
I'm super happy that you touched the 1155 standard, because it's very useful. It can be used exactly in gaming. I'm also following the developments in there, and there is bright minds behind that protocol. So maybe now you can share your favorite applications so far in NFTs.
Yeah, what you guys think is the. Maybe we can divide it into currently what is currently super interesting, what is currently blowing up, and what could be very interesting in the future, if there are two different things. So again, maybe we can start with us, or maybe with Krasi. Let's start.
So I'm usually a gamer, and apart from reading Twitter, I play games. So I think one of the biggest possibilities about NFTs is to embed them in video games. And I think at the moment this is not something very popular, but it will become. And recently CoinCheck and Engine announced that they are going to introduce NFTs in Minecraft. And Minecraft is a huge video game that has over 100 million players. So these people are potentially going to be exposed to NFTs, which will potentially drive more user adoption. One of the things is video games, and that's my favorite probably. And of course, I think we are going to see a lot of projects that are going to make fractional NFTs. So, for example, if you have this NFT that costs $100 million, you can split it in 1,000 pieces and you can own one piece of that NFT. So I think we'll see more and more projects that are striving to do this.
Interesting. Yeah, the gaming part angle is actually interesting, and I see this question of why are these big companies like Ubisoft and Bethesda and Blizzard, I guess, are not implementing those, since they have thousands of different items
That's a good question, actually.
Skins, and this is actually very interesting news that they're going to try to do a trial with this.
Yeah, I think the biggest companies like Blizzard and Ubisoft, Activision and so on are not going to do this until there is mainstream adoption, only because they like to have the control. I think that's the only reason for that.
Yeah, maybe they don't think it's worth it at this point.
Yeah.
Since not that many people have a MetaMask wallet, I guess.
Maybe not only that, like in a game you can exchange, you have very, like often like with World of Warcraft, you have your own tokens, like even way before Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
So one of the main use cases for NFTs in games, different type of games, is that you can exchange from a game to another game. For example, I don't mean for example I wanna switch from World of Warcraft to StarCraft, for example, and it will be like way easier for me if I can like switch, not start from 0 and start from level, I don't know, 15 with some kind of proof that I'm good enough, like to start at 15, for example. Or collectibles also. It's not only like skins and swords and so on. You also want to have like whatever, like Anastasia's sword, flaming, I don't know what kind of monster, blazing sword. In the end, I want to like, I even have a flop, you know, if you still remember the floppies I have with stuff that I have saved from Diablo 2. Can you imagine? I just wanted to save some games only for the stuff I collected there. So imagine even that use case, just collectibles in-game, and then the metaverse.
Yes, the metaverse is super interesting.
We'll get there.
But yeah, let's continue with the guests and we can go into metaverse, because that's the other thing that I'm very interested in.
Yeah, so to add on what Krasi said, yes, game studios definitely need to implement this somehow. I think this is on their radar. They have some things they must take into consideration, like gas fees and of course revenues. So maybe they're two like big showstoppers for them. The gas, I mean, minting every token requires gas, so who is gonna pay for this? Like, are users ready to pay for this? And of course the UI and the UX, like who is gonna download MetaMask and etc. And then the revenue, they might lose some revenue because you know, people are gonna, I don't know.
And I heard it's much more expensive to mint an NFT than a different type of token. I'm not sure exactly how much more expensive it is, but if anyone has an idea, anyone minted an NFT?
Yeah, I used
Rarible,
yes, and it was like $9.
Yeah. Okay. Now at today's gas prices, it's not worth it to do for small stuff.
Yeah.
You know, minting for things with low value. Maybe for high value items like $100,000, $10 fee.
Yeah. So any others than games? What do you think is interesting?
Yeah, art is now popular. You know, like Rarible, Super Rare, Known Origin. It's like, I mean, all these marketplaces, there's some artists getting popularity. So, you know, art has its own place there, and maybe people are trying to get more people into crypto through art. So this is kind of something that's happening now, and it's been there before. I think not just now. Yeah, new things. Most recently, it's the Y Insure thing they've added, where you can basically mint insurance for some specific specific projects, and then you can basically transfer this insurance, or list it on OpenSea or somewhere. So it's like you purchase an insurance cover for let's say you want to be covered for 20 if something happens with this in some specific smart contract, and then you can basically offer it on a secondary market through as an NFT. So this is kind of cool, and this basically it's the entry level for any sorts of financial derivative products, not only for crypto financial derivatives, but maybe for all sorts of other financial derivative products.
Yeah, that's interesting. But so do you mean like what can you insure? You mean insure a smart contract for getting hacked?
Yeah, for example,
if
you have if you want, you can say.
Yeah, I think Rarible are currently doing that, and they are using Nexus Mutual. And you can buy an NFT that, for example, for 5 ETH, and if something happens, you can receive 100 ETH because something happened on, let's say, your finance or something like some DeFi project. So yeah, you can buy insurance and be rewarded if something happens.
So it's like a bet.
Yeah, it's like a bet against.
It's like a prediction kind of thing in the market.
Yeah, you can say.
Cool. Any other, or should I give the word to Pascal?
Maybe about FairSpin.
FairSpin is something well known to everybody, but it's free, you know, because people are trying to sell out some NFTs. We give them away for free. Just play the game.
Yeah, you can actually mint NFTs. I think again in Rarible, I think if you're purchasing NFTs there, some art. NFTs, let's say, I think if every month you get mint, like it's kind of it's like farming, but actually you don't get NFTs though. You're getting just their token, which is rare. But I know projects which are doing this. I also kind of see this happening. For example, in Uniswap, you deposit some specific pair, and apart from the fees that you're getting for the transfers, apart from possibly the yield of the token that you're getting, you can also get NFTs for, I don't know, you can like put this, spin it around marketing or some kind of like a collectible idea. You've been a liquidity provider for 2 weeks, for 1 month, for 1 year, and so forth. So and then for this, you're getting more rare NFTs, like rarer NFTs.
Yeah. There is this thing called NFT farming, I guess, which is you get rewarded of NFTs for doing some farming. I think Avegochi has this is kind of a, I don't know whether it's new or it's from the past. Now it's kind of getting more popularity, where basically you need to take your 8 tokens and you can put them in Avegochi. It's like a Tamagotchi. So you take your 8 tokens, you buy some ghost tokens, then you put them together and you get this ghost Avegochi, and basically you feed it with the more 8 tokens you have, the more experience you get, the more rare items or the more rare Avegochi becomes. So it's kind of, people are doing so crazy stuff nowadays.
But it has everywhere, like listening to you now, if we draw the line in everything you said, there is some gamification like part to it. Do you agree that it's like a very important thing for like adoption?
Yeah.
NFTs?
I think everybody uses it, or most of the people, I mean, are using it as a marketing instrument, as you said. It's whether...
It could be a different type of value, apart from the financial value, which is also obviously important. It could be this emotional value of having an NFT related to a specific project.
Well, it speaks to people's psychics, so...
Yeah. Pascal?
Yeah, but apart from what have been said, of course, video games, gamification actually. I think it's a very big market, and maybe it's hard to understand because if you are not attached to things, you don't see the value. But I know some people, example, people who have invested in some project, they like to have a badge which says I was here.
Exactly. Yeah.
It maybe doesn't make sense for a lot of people, but for some people it makes sense, and because it makes sense for people, then it has value. So yeah, gamification actually should be very cool. And also virtual land. So I guess everybody knows the Second Life. It was a place where you can actually make money with the Linden dollar, which was actually
Right. Yeah. I remember
actually a crypto gateway. You could buy on some marketplace. You could buy Bitcoin with Linden dollar and not with fiat to respect some kind of thing. But yeah, I mean for video games, real this kind of thing. And then yeah, what is good with the contract. NFT contract is that actually to get an insurance from Nexus you need a KYC and so on. While here the good thing is that actually you abstract the need of a KYC, you just tokenize it, and it's good because as you said, yeah, it opens the world of I like to call them contract basically of contract on Ethereum, which are real contracts, which are tokenized, and you can use them for insurance or for hedging or for anything. So I think those things will actually be quite bullish. And for the fees, okay, I guess we are all more on Ethereum, but there are other blockchains, layer 2 solution as well. You are speaking about Matic. So I guess if someday it has to be in big video games like that for the gas issue, there will be some solutions. And I don't know why Giants don't go there. I actually would like to see what they will do. I don't remember the name of the studio, which is doing Fortnite. But with now their issue with Apple, maybe it will push them to have their own system, marketplace, and so on, and maybe also will go to this direction. And for the loss of profit that they may have, I don't know if it will be the case or not, because actually it may boost
maybe, yeah,
and it make it more attractive. The only problem I could see it's more down to the regulations, the AML and so on. Because if you open up things, Ubisoft don't want dirty money to arrive one day on their platform. So I guess this is one of the limitations, but I don't see those big video games studio to do something decentralized. I will expect more them to do something more centralized, so they can keep control
and this opens up an opportunity for some small studios to rise up and do crazy stuff.
And actually with AML, sorry, but Confirm they now wants to work on a proof of AML. So you can have an NFT token which proves that okay, this example contract or whatever doesn't have dirty money or this kind of thing, and this could be used in the future. So for regulation or this kind of thing.
But this could also be some kind of a self-sovereign identity, I guess, through an NFT.
Also,
yeah.
And this is very interesting because if you have this token which has your identity inside of it, and if you have it in your wallet, let's say, then some services could provide you with a service without requiring something else regular, like going through this whole process. So this is very interesting.
Over and over again.
Over and over again. So different service do it again.
Yeah.
And if you have this one NFT, that's very interesting actually.
Yeah, but I always have the problem that we can lose it and someone can pretend that.
This is.
But there will be a third-party service that will help you.
Custodians and so on. You can shard it and put it in different places and so on. But you touched on one of the challenges, regulations. What else do you think is like to everyone in the panel are challenges for NFTs?
Gas fees for sure.
Yeah, that
first place.
Yeah, unfortunately NFTs came literally, like the boom, they didn't come now of course, but the boom now in August came the boom of digital art market that just rose. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was amidst the insane soaring ETH gas fees.
Yeah, due to DeFi. So DeFi had this negative effect because it raised the gas fees, but on the positive side, it kind of introduced or made people to try MetaMask in different wallets and to be more comfortable.
That's how the users of MetaMask also went up.
Actually, I think the DeFi boost kind of also helped NFTs to come into the spotlight because people just started to feel more comfortable with using MetaMask and storing tokens there. So I'm quite confident that DeFi kind of pushed NFTs again to the front lines because they were kind of dead since 2017. Wasn't much going on since 2017 with the first NFTs, but now they are again becoming very interesting. So what do you think about art? on NFTs? Like, do you think it's like it sounds like a promising use case, but actually it's not, or it has some something into it?
I appreciate it because it kind of opens up the crypto community for more people to join. There will be opportunities for artists to join. They see that there are people making money and living out of this, so maybe more artists will come, then there are more people who join the crypto community, because it's not easy and it will take time, and we need to get a broader community of people into the crypto and blockchain space. And arts, this is another segment of people that you can teach them, managing private keys, KYC ML on exchanges, stuff like this, order books and etc. So I think it's very tough space, and it has a lot of challenges to overcome. The UX, the UI, the fees, the keys.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Art.
Well, the first time we spoke about art on blockchain, it was mainly for the trustability, to be sure that this is a real piece and this kind of thing. And it was like during the ICO craze, there were many projects actually doing that. And now I'm very skeptical because I don't know. I know that of course you prefer to have the real how to say.
Real piece.
Real piece rather than a copy, and of course the price or the cost of a real piece should be higher than a copy. But it may be true for painting, because you know that the artists have painted it, and it's very hard to have an exact copy. For digital art, I would like also to own a unique piece of digital art, but I know that the artist has the exact copy on his computer. So somehow, this is just my point of view, but I feel that it has a bit less value than someone who has actually drawn something. And also, I don't know, someone could draw something. There is a history of the artist behind. I mean, it's stupid, but people who like art, they also like the artist actually, and the story of the artist and this kind of thing. So maybe there will be a famous artist who will start doing NFT, and because it's this artist and he has this story. But for artists like that are not known, I don't see this as a gateway to open new things like that. It's just my point of view. Of course, the market will decide. We have actually an artist in the team, and we have pushed him to tokenize some of his paintings. But again, I mean, he sent me the PNG, and I put it on Variable. So it's less cool. I mean, than if you go in a shop where you can speak with someone who tells you the story of this painting and this and that. Sometimes artists are crazy, so you have all the mania of the artist. While here, you know that it's someone behind his computer. So for me, it's less sexy than real art. But again, maybe the market will take a different take, and it will be something big.
Actually, I think maybe the new generations will not feel that this connection with the physical world that much. And also, I think kind of digital art through NFTs could be more appropriate, more suitable for like digital artists, native digital artists who create like maybe some kind of like short videos or GIFs, moving art. And I think also when you couple this with these virtual worlds, the metaverse that is being created, the most interesting, or the real estate that I kind of hear the most about from these virtual worlds is actually art galleries, where you go in as a VR character and you can look at art. And it's like
art that you acquired on Rarible or anywhere.
Exactly.
You place it on your voxel or whatever.
Yeah, so basically you buy a piece of land in the VR world, which is an NFT, and then there are companies who build the real estate, like they build you the flat or whatever you want to build with a piece of land, and then you put NFTs inside, so that you can show all that like this is your piece of land, and you can put whatever art you have bought. And this kind of sounds like sci-fi, but it's actually happening.
Yeah.
And there are already like about 3 or 4 maybe virtual worlds. And I see actually, and this is pushing people to buy VR headsets. Yeah. I see a couple of the people that I know are buying headsets just so that they can go into these virtual worlds. And they are kind of crypto-anarchistic at this point. So I kind of see some, something interesting happening with art there. Because you can have,
You have art, you have music, you have
also
other stuff will pop up there. I don't know. It's crazy stuff are happening. So maybe you walk your Tamagotchi somewhere there. So.
Exactly, yeah. So and also when it comes to like this connection with the real world, I know this Pompiano is going into digital art, and he is actually commissioning digital paintings to get done by famous artists and selling them or buying them from the artist with the goal to actually sell them maybe in the future. And he believes that this could be a good investment. Of course, he's speculating, of course, but I saw the painting, the first one actually that got commissioned, and it was kind of looks cool. And I actually bought an NFT piece of like a GIF art, and it has this emotional appeal. And I was kind of like, what else is there? Like, what else can I buy for? Well, I'm not spending thousands, but for $20, what kind of interesting GIFs or art pieces can I buy? So just to build my collection. So I think it's for me it's also interesting, but the value is very subjective.
I think there is a reason for that, and the reason is because in DeFi, and I love DeFi, but in DeFi you can't have the average Joe to go and get token Y, move it to token Z, then put it in pool W, and this is overcomplicated. And I know that they are building aggregators and automatic tools, but at the end of the day, it's not going to attract the average user. While with NFTs, it's like more natural because the piece of art is like familiar to anyone, to everybody, and people are likely to buy art in any form than to, I don't know, go to compound, for example. And I think because of that, we are going to see the NFT marketplace to the NFT market to not only catch DeFi, but I think it will at some point go ahead of DeFi.
Yeah, it's
just because of that, because it's like more natural thing to do, to buy an NFT, an art.
That is very interesting. We should actually write it down somewhere and see, like, in the future whether it will be true.
It's being written.
Yeah, it's a very interesting like view of the future. And besides Pompiano, for example, art funds, there is also I just heard a podcast like from today or yesterday. Delphi Digital. Yeah, Delphi Digital now made a fund also like for like now saying 10 million that for starters will invest in digital art also. And like generally I also saw that we are going into the discussion whether digital art is like it's easy to just copy paste literally, it's not even fake, you don't even have to like go and like paint from scratch the whole painting, right? You can just copy it. And the whole like conversation whether digital art is art at all, and it's interesting that we even got into that. Like I personally think that like it's just different type of expression. Exactly, it's just your tablet or your computer, your like whatever program you're using. It's your tool, just like
paintbrush.
Yeah, is your tool. Yeah. So yeah, it's very interesting to follow like what how people see it and know. But the fact is that it's been in like huge discussions and not dying out for the past few months.
Yeah,
and it's still
going up. More than $250 million on Rarible.
Exactly. And NFT gateway also is like
I think this is the Wickham. The twins. This is also there, so they're also Winkables. Yeah, Winkables twins. I think what is also valuable, maybe we can move from the art thing, but what is valuable is that you can be sure that this piece of art that you have is actually the genuine piece of art. It's coming from the artist itself. And while in the real world, you have fakes. You can fake a painting, and so you can fake it so well that nobody can.
And you need a specialist to prove whether it's
exactly
true or
just like gold. That you can buy gold, but gold might not be genuine. And while a Bitcoin, you know it's genuine.
Yeah, and you can trace the address from the original
exactly.
creator, and you see, oh yeah, that was this guy.
It went all the way back to the address of the creator. So this provenance part is so interesting.
But I think that the same is true for the physical world, because, for example, I think the most common example is Mona Lisa. So you can print Mona Lisa and put it on your wall, but it won't be Mona Lisa. It will be just a printing on your wall. And Mona Lisa is in the Louvre. It costs like $1 billion, and people are paying crazy money to go and see it. But no one is going to pay to see your Mona Lisa.
Yeah, I think it's exactly that. I was going to provide the same. Actually, I was going to use Mona Lisa because there was a question. So why is this valuable when I can just copy and paste it?
I also saw
and I have it, but it's not the genuine thing because you don't have the NFT token, which signifies its authenticity.
You
so,
accept comments from the audience?
Of course, but that was at the end. So maybe, do we have anything more to cover?
More or less. We didn't actually cover what you think about the future applications of NFTs.
There's a future, and we can start with the audience.
Where do you see most value, maybe?
I think derivative products, both for crypto world and for the traditional financial world. You can tokenize stuff and just make them tradable, which opens up more liquidity, more trading, more volumes.
Like invoices. Invoices, for example. There's a project that tokenizes invoices.
Maybe this. I was more broadly speaking about options, futures, forwards. Yeah.
Why is that non-fungible?
Non-fungible tokens.
But why is that? Like why?
What
should be non-fungible?
Well, if you take it, for example, on the blockchain, if you have, for example, an option contract for Bitcoin, let's say, where you can do it on a centralized exchange, fine. If you want to do it in a decentralized way, you can buy an NFT, trade it, and if you have a liquid market, it makes the market more mature and etc. But the current solution.
So that one particular option becomes one particular non-fungible asset.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there can be thousands, and there could be order books for these options.
So each one is a separate smart contract.
Yeah. There is kind of.
So in the example of the invoices, also although they're not derivatives, so the invoices that are being tokenized, they're connected to a specific company. So the NFT kind of signifies which company is this asset related to. So any other futuristic ideas?
I mean, everything for me which is linked to gaming and virtual reality, for me is the biggest use case, because it doesn't, the problem with DeFi, DeFi is already a niche in crypto. So, while gaming, it's even not crypto, I think there is also a lot of things with football, like Zahariev and this kind of thing, where you can have NFT representing a footballer, and then you can play fantasy football, this kind of thing. So for me, of course, the biggest use case and the sexiest is gaming and items, as you said, that you can buy and sell, or collectible cards, boarding game also. I mean, I'm dreaming to play Monopoly in virtual reality, where the hotel I'm buying are actually NFT, that I can, crazy things that we can think of. And it's the things that makes me the most excited.
Actually, there is also NBA. There's a collaboration between a company, I can't remember the name, and NBA, and they have these 3D cubes where inside you have something like a moment. For example, a famous player is dunking and winning the match. For example, you can have this moment as an NFT.
Wow.
And like a collectible.
NBA Top Shot or something like
Something like this,
It's
yes.
being developed by the same developers of CryptoKitties. Yeah.
Okay. So
Probably that's why nothing happens with CryptoKitties, because they're doing some other crazy stuff.
Yeah. But it looks cool because it's like a box. It looks like a cube, and inside there's a video which is just looping of this moment. And maybe there are like only 10 such cubes, and you want to buy this moment. So it's interesting.
And you can showcase it in
Yes,
your
yes.
metaverse.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why like all the digital frames for now not even like photos, now it's like for paintings, for digital art, plus for moments like this, for NFTs like this, they're like going up also, like the market is crazy.
Yeah.
Another thing that maybe we haven't mentioned is digital rights, like movies, audiobooks, music. I think someone can own a fictional character like Iron Man, for example, and they can lease their rights for the movie and stuff like that. But this is all something very futuristic, and I'm not sure if it's going to be used or not.
Yeah. It's also interesting because maybe you can gain access if you have 3 specific types of NFTs. You can get access to, I don't know, specific private chat room in a virtual world, but you need to have these 3.
With Warren Buffett, for example,
For example,
instead of like going in this pandemic, they're doing those charity auctions for dinners and stuff. Instead of doing that and going to New York, for example, you can have it like in Decentraland or some other universe.
I think the conclusion that we can reach here is like the NFT universe is limitless. So I think there could be so many different applications. But as Pascal mentioned, the market will kind of determine which are the most interesting ones.
One last that I mentioned before, it's everything which is a referral. Like, if you have referred people to Binance, I can imagine if you can tokenize actually all the people that you have referred, and you can sell it. So it's like if you win money on your future's earnings, and you can say, okay, I have this 200 people that I have referred, and this is an NFT, 200 NFTs, let's say, representing all those single accounts, and now I'm just selling them for 5 times what I have earned last year, and then people will buy it on this kind of thing. And I mentioned it because we work on this kind of thing to make some kind of NFT with referral that people after they could sell if they want, or this kind of thing.
Yeah, this is interesting. Possibly Ruža Ignatova will be interested.
Yeah, I was thinking about the same.
Yeah, right. No, but referrals are something like it's a completely valuable strategy, and many different projects are using them. So if you can, because if you're doing something in a project, but then some other project interests you more, what do you do with the network that you have already developed? If you can tokenize it to an NFT, you can just sell it to someone else and continue with the next thing. So it makes sense.
You can just tokenize your your network. It's a unique one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have this network. It's, for example, in the financial space. And
So again, limitless possibilities, I guess.
so maybe let's go to questions from our audience.
After we're done.
I had a comment. This is the most interesting, important topic in my opinion. Why was that? The NFTs. I call them non-fungible assets. Super interesting points. Thanks. I was always thinking that the first level of art will go somewhere in the digital world, and kind of I see 2 directions. One is, for instance, in gaming, it's already happening. Like you get a knife or whatever, a sword from a game, and people in like World of Warcraft, they already established a transaction, and one of the players get the sword, and the other gets some money, and they do it online via forums. That's very important, but I don't think crypto brings a lot of efficiency on that transaction, to be honest, because as you said, you need to buy a token, whatever form. But if this sword can be moved through different games, then it becomes super interesting. And maybe that's some platform that could exist. The other thing I was thinking is songs. Like right now, SoundCloud, for instance, has algorithm to detect if you plagiarize the song, for instance. And here the important part is basically 2 things. One, if Mona Lisa, as you said, is traded for more than it is, if it's a fake, And the other one is if the artist doesn't take money. So if, let's say in SoundCloud, or I was thinking in Instagram photos, but that's kind of difficult to know if it's real or not. If somehow there is like some sort of attachment, a code, a crypto, like, I don't know, something like private public key, I don't know how to do it exactly, but whenever there is such a thing, the artist gets whatever they need to get. And if there is no such thing, it's counterfeit, you can basically Creative Commons, establish such thing like that. And the third one, which is super interesting in my opinion, is education. Let's say nowadays Peter Thiel said X, but Peter Thiel never said it, but you know, fake news kind of things. Let's say the Steve Jobs quote. So Steve Jobs said at the end of his life, you know, be a normal person. He said, I'm dying. He never said, you know, be like a nice person to people. He never said that, but now everybody's like, Steve Jobs said it. And somehow to validate a certain thing. As you said, moments for basketball. There was this US portfolio, I forgot it, but that's super important. And I think that way, when the artist has the incentive to provide that as an NFT in whatever form, and even if they forget their 12 symbols, when they die, somebody needs to know it's part of them. So that's, in my opinion, how I see it starting. That's super interesting. So I don't know, I just wanted to give my 2 cents.
It totally makes sense. It's like maybe tokenize the tweets that you have, somehow make your tweet an NFT, and then if someone uses it, they can pay you a small royalty or something like this. And the thing about the photos you said, you can make stock photography the same way as a non-fungible assets, that the artist who uploaded the photo on this market gets royalties on every time the photo is used on a newspaper or blog or whatever.
So yeah, I actually thought about this, and the problem is that there is no like centralized entity that kind of can enforce IP rights.
Yeah, that's why you need something like Creative Commons on crypto.
Yeah.
This is open source thing, which is sort of more of a moral thing, which should be cryptographically enforced somehow.
Yeah,
Actually,
could be a service at first.
Actually, Aragon are trying to build something like global jurisdiction where they can they can say this NFT belongs to that person, and maybe in the future, in the long future, we can see that global jurisdiction that can validate something on chain and link it to the physical world. Then I think
you have it with open law.
Open law, the law. They are also doing something similar, I guess.
Yeah, and also you mentioned songs, and I kind of see this. Everyone is talking about how you can create your new album, you put it out as NFTs, and then when someone plays a song from that album, the artist gets paid. But the problem is that, and I talked about this with Vlado, that there is currently no decentralized Spotify that can kind of detect.
Yeah, that's one thing. This is naturally, right?
Yeah, and there should be a service like this that someone detects that this is being used.
Yannick, who we work with, created this thing before Eternity, which was called, I don't know, fancy, I forgot the name. But basically, you buy coins and you attach them to links, because the URL is unique. And then whenever somebody claims, that much traffic came to that URL, they can take the tokens. But there are so many inefficiencies along the way, but still, I think that's very valid.
But he's currently doing this as well.
Okay,
With Superhero, you can basically, but there is no NFT in that though.
Okay.
You can just tip any URL with any tokens. But yeah, he was also domain names. They're currently using NFTs to tokenize domain names. So if you have this token, you have claim on a specific domain name. So everything that is unique, that you need to prove that it's unique, you can NFTize it or something.
NFT5.
NFT5, yeah. Because
what is the best platform for it? What was the name of the token in Ethereum?
The standard is ERC 721 and ERC 1155.
And there is one more 998, I think.
Yeah.
You can put NFT on top of an NFT and put an ERC 20. So
Yeah. And OpenSea is one very popular.
It's a marketplace.
It's like a marketplace for all kind of NFTs, and Rarible I know.
Variables.
And they're also aggregators of marketplaces, of NFT and marketplaces. So you can go to this one, I forgot the place, but it kind of collects all the information from Rarible and like OpenSea and all the different other ones that exist, and you can search it through there.
CryptoKitties, they're on Ethereum, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Any other questions from your audience? Any use cases for NFTs that you're thinking about, guys?
Anything you want to ask our panelists
Yeah.
on their projects too? Because like
All
they're
right.
in
So
DeFi and NFTs, everything is interconnected.
I think we're actually perfect in time though. So it's 8:10, 1 hour. Never done this before. 1 hour. Yeah. Okay.
That's what live events do with us.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great that we touched on like NFTs and the rise of like generally DeFi and NFTs. It can bring like you just had a discussion about things that are still not developed. And for example, now VR is surging really, like any moment now we'll see it, like the general user will see, like you even already said that you have friends that are buying VR sets just to be able like to go in some metaverse and just explore it. So because of that, now VR is developing really fast. So things are very interconnected, and we always say like, how are we gonna get adoption for this and that? And actually, it just organically goes, just the demand, because of the demand around it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely, and we're talking about NFTs now, but there are people, the communities that have been into NFTs for 2 years, building on in the back, and getting ready for this explosion that was kind of pushed with DeFi a little bit. So yeah, I think NFTs is a fun frontier to explore, definitely. But yeah, I had this idea of how about, maybe before I close it, can you use, if we're talking about DeFi and NFTs, can you use an NFT, for example, a piece of art, as collateral?
Yes, you can.
And then get part of it and die, let's say.
This is one of the actually great use cases we didn't touch upon.
Yeah,
I think there is already a project that is doing that.
Yeah.
You can provide your NFT, and if they value that NFT, they give you back.
It's Rocket, I think.
I don't remember.
You know the guy Alex who tokenized himself?
Yes.
His first project was this. He launched, and actually they did the first loan with an NFT. I don't know what was this NFT, maybe it was ENS actually, I don't remember. But yeah.
So
there is one more cool thing.
But the point for that is the liquidity. Like if you get liquidated, who will...
Exactly. So I was thinking about this, maybe if it's a valuable piece of art, you can get someone who said like, if this guy doesn't pay his loan back, I'll get his NFT at 50% off. Which could be something that a collector of digital art is interested in, but you need to match it. So you need to basically, someone needs to propose to collateralize this, and someone on the other side
like
says, okay, I'll buy this if you don't pay the loan.
He will need to buy it. Maybe he will change his mind in 2 months, and in 2 months he got liquidated. I mean, this is why it's quite hard. I think.
Hard, I know, but you were saying there was a project like this? Or
No, I know that this is happening now. We have that many NFTs going out for huge amounts of money. I wanted to say that there is this thing with Chainlink where you can make live NFTs. For example, if there is a live event happening, it will kind of feed into your NFT so that it can change. So again, crazy stuff connecting the real world with the...
And you can, for example, you also we talked about insurance, for example, insurance policies as NFTs. Imagine gamifying that, like betting on, for example, Vlad. I know he loves, for example, jumping from from tall buildings and stuff. Other people don't know it, and you can bet on his insurance policy, for example.
Shorting people is very dangerous.
But this is actually something wild. This is really cool.
His insurance policy, not himself per
This is
se.
interesting. This is related
Incentives.
I'm an insurance broker, by the way, so.
something else. But this is one of the darker sides of prediction markets, because you can create something like this person is going to die before December 31st.
I didn't really mean that.
And then if someone is betting a lot that this is going to happen,
You have incentive.
you have an incentive to actually realize this.
And check your brakes every day.
So I guess we can close this. We have 15 more minutes before the bar closes. So you can guys get more beers if you want. And thank you all for this amazing panel.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for this. And I really prefer live events too. I'm now convinced.
On Central.
Maybe we can do this.
Thank you so much.
Someday we can do the Sofia Crypto Meetup in the centralized.